June 19, 1944. 10:23 a.m. above the Philippine Sea. Lieutenant Zenji Abe, 24 years old, leads a formation of 43 Japanese Zero fighters toward the American fleet. His orders: destroy the American carriers before their planes can launch. At 18,000 feet, American radar picks up his formation. Anti-aircraft guns train toward the sky. Shells begin firing. But something is different today. The American shells aren't just exploding on impact or after a timer. They're exploding the instant they get close to Japanese aircraft. No direct hit needed, just proximity. Within seconds, 6 Zeros disintegrate in midair. Zenji banks hard, trying to evade, but the explosions follow him. It's as if the American shells can see his plane. In the next 20 minutes, 42 of his 43 aircraft will be shot down. The Japanese have no idea what's killing them. American sailors call it the VT fuse. Scientists call it the proximity fuse. But Japanese pilots who survive encounters with it call it the shell that thinks. This is the story of the most secret weapon of World War II. A weapon so classified that downed American pilots were ordered to destroy their planes rather than let the technology fall into enemy hands. A weapon that changed naval warfare forever and killed more Japanese aircraft than any other defense system in the Pacific. And the Japanese never figured out how it worked. May 8, 1942. Battle of the Coral Sea. The USS Lexington, one of America's most valuable carriers, is under attack by Japanese dive bombers and torpedo planes. American anti-aircraft guns fire desperately. 5-inch shells streak into the sky. But there's a problem. Conventional anti-aircraft shells use timed fuses. Gunners estimate the target's altitude, set the fuse to explode at that height, and fire. If the estimate is right and the timing is perfect, the shell explodes near the aircraft, sending shrapnel that might damage or destroy it. But aircraft don't fly in straight lines. They maneuver, dive, climb, change speed. By the time the shell reaches the estimated altitude, the aircraft has moved. Early war statistics were devastating. It took an average of 1,500 anti-aircraft shells to shoot down one aircraft. Some estimates went as high as 2,500 shells per kill. The USS Lexington's gunners fired thousands of rounds. They shot down some attackers, but not enough. Japanese torpedoes struck the carrier. Fires raged. By evening, Lexington was abandoned and scuttled. USS Wasp sunk September 1942. USS Hornet sunk October 1942. USS Yorktown sunk June 1942. America couldn't afford to lose carriers faster than shipyards could build them. Japanese dive bombers and torpedo planes were too effective. American anti-aircraft fire was too inaccurate. But in 1940, even before America entered the war, a team of scientists at Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Laboratory had begun working on a solution. A shell that didn't need to hit the aircraft directly. A shell that could detect when it was close to a target and automatically detonate. A shell with a tiny radio transmitter and receiver packed inside. A proximity fuse. January 5, 1943. Off Guadalcanal. The USS Helena is the first ship equipped with VT-fused ammunition in combat conditions. A lone Japanese bomber approaches at dusk, a time when visibility makes conventional gunnery nearly impossible. Helena's gunners fire VT-fused shells. The first round explodes 70 feet from the bomber. The bomber disintegrates. The gunners are stunned. One shot, one kill. At dusk, at a maneuvering target. Word spreads quickly through the fleet. The new fuses work. But it's at the Battle of the Philippine Sea, June 19th to 20th, 1944, that VT fuses prove their true value. The battle becomes known as the Great Marianas Turkey Shoot. 450 Japanese carrier aircraft attack the American fleet. It's the largest carrier battle of the war. Japanese Admiral Ozawa commits everything. American ships form defensive formations. Radar tracks the incoming Japanese aircraft at 150 miles. Fighter aircraft scramble to intercept. But many Japanese planes get through the fighter screen. They close on the carriers. This is the moment of truth. American anti-aircraft guns open fire. But these aren't the desperate, wasteful barrages of 1942. Every shell has a VT fuse. The sky erupts. Japanese aircraft explode before reaching attack positions. Some pilots watch in horror as their wingmen simply disintegrate from explosions that seem to come from nowhere. From the Japanese perspective, it's incomprehensible. American shells seem to know exactly where aircraft are. Evasive maneuvers don't help. The explosions follow them. By the end of June 19th, the Japanese have lost 243 carrier aircraft. Only 29 American aircraft are lost. The next day, 152 more Japanese aircraft destroyed. The entire Japanese carrier air arm is shattered. Of the 243 Japanese aircraft lost on June 19th, American estimates attribute over 100 to VT-fused anti-aircraft fire alone, far more than were shot down by fighters. Surviving Japanese pilots report to their commanders. They describe American anti-aircraft fire as impossibly accurate. Some claim the Americans have developed death rays or magnetic weapons. Japanese intelligence interrogates downed American pilots. They find no information. The Americans know nothing. The technology is so classified that even the pilots don't understand it. Japanese technicians examine unexploded American shells recovered from the ocean. They find complex electronics inside but can't determine the operating principle. Some Japanese scientists theorize it's a photoelectric cell triggered by an aircraft's shadow. They're completely wrong. The Japanese never figure it out, not during the entire war. October 25, 1944, the Philippines. Japan deploys a new weapon, kamikaze attacks. Suicide pilots deliberately crash explosive-laden aircraft into American ships. It's a desperate tactic, and it's effective. Conventional anti-aircraft fire often fails to stop a pilot willing to die, but VT fuses change the equation. A kamikaze doesn't need to survive. It just needs to reach the target. But VT fuses can destroy the aircraft before it gets close enough to crash. Statistics from late 1944 and 1945 show VT-fused ammunition destroying kamikazes at rates conventional fuses never achieved. Battle of Okinawa, April to June 1945. The largest kamikaze campaign of the war. 1,900 kamikaze attacks over 3 months. American ships fire millions of rounds of VT-fused ammunition. The kill rate against kamikazes increases dramatically compared to earlier battles. Without VT fuse, casualties would have been catastrophically higher. Some naval historians estimate VT fuses saved dozens of American ships and thousands of sailors' lives. Post-war analysis by the U.S. Navy concludes that VT fuses increased anti-aircraft effectiveness by 300 to 500%. The number of shells needed per kill dropped from 1,500 to 2,500 to approximately 500. More importantly, VT fuses provided reliable defense against dive bombers and torpedo planes, the weapons that sank American carriers early in the war. When Japan surrenders in August 1945, American ships have fired over 1 million VT fuse rounds. The Japanese still don't understand how they work. After the war, when Japanese scientists finally get full access to VT fuse technology, they're shocked by its sophistication. Japanese electronics development had lagged behind America's throughout the war, but they had no idea the gap was this large.